Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by WeUni in collaboration with Bard College. My name is Florencia, and I'll have the pleasure of being your host throughout today's event. First of all, we want to thank you for joining this webinar. We know your time is valuable, and that's why we have prepared a very special session with members of Bard College staff who will share their expertise and knowledge with all of you. Before we start, quick information. During the presentation, you can all submit your questions to the speakers throughout the Q&A box at the bottom of Zoom. And at the end of the talk, we will open a Q&A session and our speakers will answer them directly to you. Also, all participants attending this event can request a certificate of attendance issued by WeUni. And at the end of the session, we will share the link in the chat so you can register and receive it. So now let me introduce you to today's special speakers from Bard College. We are here with Stephanie Molka, Marketing and Communications Manager. Also, Grace Label, Recruitment and Admissions Manager, and Duncan McDonald, Program Manager, MA in Global Studies. So hello, the three of you. You're all together over there. It's truly an honor to have you with us. Welcome, and thank you for joining this webinar. So today we are presenting a really exciting topic, which is study and intern in New York City. We are going to discover Bard's internship programs and how to take your first step into the professional world. With that said, I will now hand it over to our first panelist, Stephanie, to begin with the presentation. I leave the floor to her and enjoy this webinar.
Okay, great. So I will just bring up our slides. Okay, how does that look? Hopefully it's okay.
Yeah, it's great. We can see
great.
it. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, then let's get started. Thanks again, everyone, for joining the webinar today. So this is just a quick outline of what we'll be covering. Grace and I will talk about the professional certificate programs at Bard NYC, and then Duncan will be covering the MA program, and then there'll be time for a Q&A at the end. So I'm just going to start by telling you all a little bit more about Bard College. So this is a small liberal arts college located in upstate New York. It's founded in 1860. So it's an old college by American standards, but not so much European or global standards. So it's about located 2 hours north of New York City. So where you see that little star on the map, that's where the main campus is, but we are located at the New York City campus. So that's where our staff and our program operates from. So what is Bard NYC? So this is an innovative new study away program for undergraduate students, or recent graduates can also apply. The goal is to give students a career head start by combining advanced coursework with a professional internship in your field. We also want students, of course, to experience what it's really like to study in New York City, to live in New York City, and to work here. We do accept all majors to the program, and you can choose between the fall or the spring semester. So right now we have applications open for our spring 2026 semester. But if you're also thinking about applying for the fall, those will open up. Those applications will be open probably at the beginning of 2026. And then you can choose from one of 2 certificate programs. So we'll get more into those details in just a few minutes. But if you are an international student, you will choose one of the 2 certificate programs. So giving a little bit more information about our academic program, all of our courses are 4 credits. Students typically take 3 to 4 courses every semester, so 12 to 16 credits. And we organize our courses on a morning and evening schedule for the most part, and that's to allow for time at internships in the afternoon. We have small seminar style classes, so typically between 12 and 18 students. And then here's a list of some sample courses in the certificate program. So I believe these are being planned for spring 2026. So that gives you an idea of some of the courses that we have coming up next semester. Moving on to our community. So we have a pretty new dormitory, which opened just in 2023. So if you join the program next year, you'll be one of the first residents. Students are living in double rooms with a ensuite bathroom and a kitchenette. So in that kitchenette, you'll have a sink, a microwave, and a mini fridge. But then you also have access to a larger shared kitchen on the 5th floor of our building. So you can do more meal preparation there. We have stovetops, larger refrigerators, ovens, and then the dining area. We also have classrooms on site on the 1st floor, so you can just wake up and go downstairs and have your first class of the day. We have a pretty convenient location here in Brooklyn. I will show you another map so that you can see exactly where we are and how easy it is to get around the city from here. 24-hour security, so we do have a security desk who's always there, and students will use a key card to swipe into the building and then the elevator and actually most doors in the building. And we offer a lot of social programming as well. So every week there's something going on, such as a pizza night, a movie night, a game night. So we make sure that students have the time to take a break from studying and your internships and have a chance to have fun, with your fellow students. These are just a few photos of the dormitory, and that's our dining area in the upper right, a library study area in the lower left, and then 2 photos of the actual dorm rooms. And here's where we're located. So we are in North Brooklyn. If on the map, you'll see Manhattan here. And if you see the L train right there, that's just one stop to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which is our local neighborhood. So really convenient to get around the city. Again, just one stop to Manhattan. So no matter where you're interning, it should be pretty easy to commute there from the dormitory. Okay, so we're going to dive more into these professional certificates that we offer. So basically what these certificates will allow students to do is engage in focused study in either globalization and international affairs or institutions and social change. So when you apply to the program, you will choose one of these options during the application process. Also, these certificates are accredited by New York State. And I will hand it over to Grace, who will talk more about these.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. All right, so let's dive in a little bit into our 2 certificate program options. The first certificate is called Institutions and Social Change. If you are somebody who is interested in pursuing a career in advocacy, in social justice, maybe in nonprofit, this is the right certificate pathway for you. In order to qualify for the Institutions and Social Change pathway, students need to take 3 qualifying courses. So 3 courses that are related to topics about advocacy, about social movements and change. At the same time, you're required to have an internship that matches the Institutions and Social Change theme. So an organization related to a social issue or a social movement. And we will talk more about all of our internship partners in just a minute. But just a few examples, recent internships that would qualify for the Institutions and Social Change certificate are the Brennan Center for Justice, Common Good, Global Justice Center, and Legal Aid Society. So if those are organizations that sound interesting to you, this might be a good fit. Our second certificate option is Globalization and International Affairs. This is actually our longest running program. It was founded in 2001. So this program has a lot of history. The Globalization and International Affairs certificate, as the name suggests, is a good fit for students who are interested in becoming leaders in the fields of international relations, global governance, and public policy. So this might be a good fit for you if you are a student interested in political science, in global affairs, perhaps in history. That's where we see a lot of students coming from. Again, similar to the Institutions and Social Change certificate, to qualify for this, you will need to take 3 courses related to international affairs, courses like writing on international affairs, globalization, finance, and marginalization. And at the same time, your internship needs to qualify as being with an international affairs organization. There's a lot of bonus opportunities for students in the Globalization and International Affairs Certificate program. You get to do a lot of interesting extracurriculars. I'd say the big highlight every term is that we take our cohort to visit the United Nations headquarters in New York City. And if you choose to join this program in the fall, you may very well be joining or attending the UN General Assembly. We have had students attending and even participating in the General Assembly this fall. Other bonus programs that you could look forward to would include our monthly guest lecture series, alumni career panels. We have over 1,500 alumni across the world in New York, as well as lectures and talks at various partner organizations of ours, places like Korea Society. So you'll be getting out of the classroom and really applying what you're learning in multiple contexts. So let me talk a little bit more about internships, which are really the highlight of the program. While you're in our program, students are taking classes and interning 15 to 20 hours a week at the same time. So it's a busy semester. I have some frequently asked questions about internships. Number 1 is always, are internships guaranteed? And the answer is yes, 100% of our students will have an internship. You are not left to do that internship search on your own. We will help you with it. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. As I mentioned at the top, internships will take about 15 to 20 hours of your week. That might sound like a lot to juggle with classes, but we design it very thoughtfully. So students will be taking classes more in the morning and in the late afternoon, and that leaves the middle of your day open to go to your internships all across the city. We have a big list of partners. I'll show you a few in just a minute. We have over 150 different internship partner organizations in the private sector, public sector, government. It's a vast array. I'm going to pull up a list of some of our recent internship placements. This is just places where we've had students in the past 1 or 2 semesters, while I talk to you a little bit about how the process works. So students applying to our program, if you're an international student, you'll be picking one of those 2 certificates, Institutions and Social Change or Globalization and International Affairs. That'll give us a sense of what you're interested in. Once you're accepted to the program, we will start working with you to brainstorm specific organizations from our list of partners that might be a good fit for your career goals, and also places that will align with your academic interests. So once you are accepted to the program, once you say, yes, I'm coming to New York City, that's when this whole process starts. We will work with you on drafting 1 or 2 versions of a cover letter. We will work with you on refining your resume. We'll ask for a copy of your resume in the application, but don't worry if it's not perfect because we'll workshop it together. We'll also have staff sit with you and do practice interviews. So we are working with you to get all of your application materials ready. And once that's done, we will be working with you for the internship search process and having you apply to multiple internships in our network. So on average, to give you a sense of what that workload looks like, our students are applying for up to 10 internships, so submitting 10 applications. From there, they'll probably get 2 or 3 interview requests. So you'll be on Zoom, just like we are now, interviewing. And from there, students at least receive 1 offer, if not multiple, giving them options to choose from. Internships take all different forms. That's just the world we live in. Some of our internship partners are paid at New York minimum wage, which is $16 an hour. Other internships might not be paid. Smaller organizations, grassroots organizations, for example. However, I do see that a lot of our unpaid internship opportunities will offer students some kind of a benefit. Maybe that's covering your Metro card, which is what you use to pay for riding the subway, taking the bus or the ferry. Other internship partners might be providing you with meals while you're working. So very different forms. We also have internships that are hybrid in nature, remote in nature, and some that are fully in person. So there's a lot of variety. The career development does not stop once you get your internship. We are going to keep on hammering it in for the entire semester that you're here. So I talked a little bit already about our dedicated staff who work with students on resumes and cover letters and interviews. We also will have alumni panels coming in during the semester, giving career talks, connecting how their Bard NYC internship experience led them to the career they're in now. We do professional development workshops such as office conduct, how to write an email, how to write a professional email. We spend a lot of time on this because we have students coming from all over the world, and American office expectations can be a little different from other parts. We even have a professional photographer come in and do your headshot. So when you're finished with this program, you'll have everything you need. You'll have experience. You'll have a nice headshot. You'll have network connections. You'll have a very well-built LinkedIn page, hopefully by the end of this program. Let me talk a little bit about what our student body looks like. We've talked about 2 certificate programs, but we have students coming in studying all types of topics. So we have students in all fields of studies, all majors. Some of our students come to this program and they've had internships before, and that's great. But we also get students who have never done an internship, and that's okay. We will take students with any level of experience. Our students are coming to us not just from Bard College, but also from many other colleges and universities across the United States and across the globe. So my job as the recruitment manager, I travel across the United States to meet students, to get them excited about our program and encourage them to come to New York City. We have students from as far as California right now, all the way over to New York. This semester, we have 9 nationalities represented in our fall 2025 cohort, but we've had as many as 18 before. So it's a very diverse group. You'll be meeting people from all around the United States and all around the world. And so we've talked a little bit about the classes. We've talked a lot about the internships. There is fun to be had in the program as well. Built into the cost of the program are several social events. We have events happening in the dorm almost every week. Things like making a group meal. Last night we had a pumpkin spice night. I don't know how familiar our international audience will be with pumpkin spice, but it's a very popular flavor for coffee drinks here in the United States. So we have fun social events just happening in the building every week. On top of that, we go out on excursions at least once a month. So students in this program will always go see a Broadway show. It's not a trip to New York City without seeing Broadway. I forget what show we're seeing this semester. Operation Mincemeat, which sounds really funny. Last term, we saw the 10-year special production of Hamilton, which was a real treat. Our students are also going to tour museums. They're taking walking tours of New York City, places like the Brooklyn Bridge. We will go to baseball games, soccer games, football games. We'll go ice skating. We have guest speakers. We have film screenings that we go to. We actually have students going to live television tapings, places like The View or The Daily Show. And also we get dressed up once a term and we go to the Metropolitan Opera, which opera might not sound so exciting, but it's a really great opportunity to dress up and take a nice selfie. So I will leave this slide up for a minute. If you're interested in applying, maybe you want to screenshot this slide. This is our annual deadlines. So the deadlines will be the same this year in 2026 and 2027. The spring deadline is coming up. It's November 1st. So if this is an opportunity that you're interested in for the coming spring, probably a good idea to open an application now and take a look. The application, it's entirely online. There is no fee, so it is free to open. The application, it's fairly straightforward. We will ask you to write a personal statement. We will ask for a short essay. I think it's around 500 words. As I mentioned, we will want to see a copy of your current resume, but don't freak out if it's not perfect. And the big thing to keep in mind is that we need one letter of recommendation. So that can be from a professor, maybe an academic advisor that you work well with. But if you're considering applying by November 1st, now is a really good time to ask for that letter of recommendation. You don't want to leave it for the last minute. We do offer financial aid as part of the program. It's needs-based and it goes towards the cost of our tuition. That's all included in the online application. So as you're filling out the application, if you are seeking a scholarship, there's a checkbox that you can tick, and then we will ask for more information. So I'm going to turn it over to our MA program now, but if you have any questions about this undergraduate program in New York City, please send us an email at bardnyc@bard.edu. And before the end of the call, I will go ahead and drop that in the chat. All right, I'll turn it to you, Duncan.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Grace, and hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be talking about a specific part of our community here at Bard NYC, which is our Master's in Global Studies program. And before I get into any of kind of the nitty-gritty of our program, I did just want to shout out the BJA program, the certificate program in international affairs that we've been discussing, is actually kind of the precursor to this master's program. Growing out of the long success of the BJA program and our really exciting ever-growing network of internship partners, we decided that it was a really great opportunity to also scale up this opportunity to the master's level and give students the opportunity to spend up to a full year in the city with us, and really immersing themselves in all that New York City has to offer. So as we go along through the MAGS portion of this presentation, just keep in mind that we are really a part of this Bard NYC community, and everything you've heard discussed so far, our students also have that access to as well. So we can get into the MAGS portion of the program as well. I always just like to start off by addressing the kind of general question of what is global studies as a discipline, or why a student might be interested in pursuing a master's program in global studies. So topically, we like to call a global studies program a very inter and multidisciplinary approach to international affairs and global issue solving. Students who are interested in global problems today are realizing that these things are pulling influences and can be analyzed from a wide variety of academic lenses. So we really designed this program to encourage students from a wide range of academic backgrounds to bring their experience to the table and talk about what at the global level can be impacted by their background. We like to focus on the fact that we combine both theory and practice of global affairs. So obviously we're all talking about internships, and that's really a critical way to gain experience. But we're also thinking really critically about how students can prepare themselves along with their research and coursework as well, to prepare them for their careers after school. So I'll talk a little bit more about what this looks like in the MAGS program as I go through our internship options, as well as our academics. But just before I get there, actually, I wanted to draw your attention to this right side over here with our sample interests. So as you can see, each semester we have students of a wide range of academic backgrounds coming into the program. Of course, there's a pretty solid base of students that are coming from a political studies, international relations background. But because of this interdisciplinary nature of global studies, we've also really made sure that students from other, similar or they themselves are interdisciplinary majors, know that they have a place in a program like this. So definitely some popular subjects on that note recently have been our climate change and sustainability students. So students who are really interested in getting some experience on the global level of what climate work is going on, and how to be a part of positive change there. Or we also see a lot of students kind of intersecting into the field of law, or human rights as they're looking at issues of migration and humanitarian work, things like that. So that's just a quick glimpse at the sort of wide range of options that you have coming into global studies. And next up, just before we go into any of the specifics of the program, we actually do offer two different types of degrees through this program. So when you decide to apply to MAGS, you have the option to choose between one of our two degree programs. And our flagship program, what I'm mostly talking about today, is our New York City track, which is the opportunity to spend the full 1-year program with us here in New York City. And this is a really great option, especially for international students who are looking to gain some experience in a global setting, especially with the work opportunities that this program can provide to students after graduation. This has been a really popular option for students to really get their foot in the door into the industries they want to explore in the United States. And for this New York City track on the left side, it's a really simple application process. You're just applying to Bard College and you're applying to spend the full year, like I said, with us in New York City. Whereas over here on the right, we offer what we call our CEU track. And this is actually a really exciting opportunity to earn a dual master's degree in both global studies and international relations. And what that means is you're basically earning a single degree over the course of a year, but that it is earning enough credits in both of these spaces to be recognized as a dual MA. So the differences in the programs here is that you would actually be beginning the program at our partner university. It's called Central European University, if any of our European audience is familiar. A really gorgeous campus based in Vienna, Austria, and it's a really highly recommended academic institution for research in Europe. So you can actually start the program over there for the first fall semester, and then you can come and join the rest of the students in the spring in New York City. So students in both of these tracks are getting all of the perks of the program. It just looks a little bit different depending on which degree track you decide to come through. And next up, so just to kind of generally go over the structure of the program, and all of this information will apply to students in either degree track. It is a 30 credit program over 2 semesters. So unlike a lot of other programs in this space, we are a quick 1-year program, which can seem a little bit daunting in some ways, but actually I think it's a really incredible opportunity to check these boxes off within a 1 year and get you ready for the workforce. And I can talk a little bit about the benefits of that when I talk about our alumni in just a minute. But just a quick further breakdown of how these credits play out throughout the year. During the fall semester, when you start the program, you'll be taking 3 courses, all of which will be based on sort of general international relations, global studies theories, addressing some of the kind of big theoretical questions that are going on in the field. And alongside that, you'll also be taking what we call a research design and academic writing course. Which is where we try to get your academic writing up to par for the graduate level specifically. We'll work on kind of the foundations of graduate level research. And as you can see at the bottom, we have what we call a capstone project as part of this program as well. So this fall course is actually a really great opportunity to really get all of our students ready to take on that very meaningful research experience during the second semester. And that brings me to the spring semester where, of course, you'll also be taking a couple of courses, various interdisciplinary in nature still with us here in New York City. But the flagship part of that spring semester is, of course, the internship experience. So similar to the undergrad experience you've heard about so far, students are taking on really cool internships during the program, and I will get into those options in just a moment. And the capstone project, like I mentioned as well, is a great opportunity for students to engage in really focused research on a subject of their choosing. So just taking a closer look at some of the academic offerings of the Global Studies program, here's just a quick glimpse at some of the popular courses we've offered over the last few semesters. And as you'll see, things are really dipping into different fields from that list I had earlier on. We're always rotating courses and trying to get students engaging with different ideas that connect to this idea of global studies and very interconnected global issues. The first couple on this list are some of those more general theoretical courses that are really designed to give you your bearings with international theories and global studies, things of that nature. But like I said, these courses are always changing. We're always offering really exciting courses based on the interest of the incoming cohort. So these are just a few quick glimpses at some of the courses we've offered. And to go a little bit closer into the capstone project as well. So we've designed this project to be a really specific and accomplishable project for our students. Because we are a 1-year program, there's really not time for you to take on a full thesis opportunity, especially when all of our students are taking on internships during the second semester. So the reason we decided to go with this kind of capstone model is it's a bit shorter of a project, so it's much more feasible for students during the year. but it's also designed really to be practical in nature. So we call it a capstone because it's really designed to not only pull from all the research you're going to be doing throughout the year, but also give you the opportunity to pull in some of your own personal experiences and or your professional experiences at the internship you'll take on. So students are doing really cool things with these projects. It's a very individualized process where you'll work with the Bard faculty member to really make sure this project is developed well throughout the year. And here are just a few sample projects that have earned distinctions actually over the past few semesters, where students are doing these really specified and cool projects about issues that relate to their own experiences or from their home countries if they're international students, for example. So yeah, just a few quick glimpses at what types of research you might get up to during the program. Here are just a few more pictures. So as I mentioned when I started speaking, we are part of the Bard NYC community as well, and our students are really encouraged to make the most of their time here in New York City. So the picture on the top left actually is we made it to the UN headquarters as well last year. This is always a really exciting opportunity for students to just get to see where the action is happening on a global scale. And it's a great way to see what types of opportunities await outside of this program. On the right side, we also got to do recently a trip out to Ellis Island to see the Statue of Liberty, which is obviously a very classic New York experience. You get to take the ferry over, and it's just a beautiful way to kind of connect with the history of New York. And then in the bottom left here actually is just one of we had some guest speakers come in regularly for our classes. So this was a former ambassador to Syria who works with Bard College as well, came and gave a presentation about his experience with diplomacy in the Middle East. So there's just always all sorts of cool events like this going on throughout the program. And a little bit more on the internship aspect of the MAGS program. So as you'll see from this list here, we actually do have quite a bit of overlap with the internship partners from the certificate programs. Our network is always growing. We have students coming in each semester doing awesome work and making new contacts with these partner organizations. So some of these organizations listed here have hosted both undergraduate and graduate students before. And these are just some of our very popular master's placements that have been some really meaningful opportunities for our students over the past few years. And as you'll see, we're touching on this idea repeatedly that students are coming in from different academic disciplines and different backgrounds. And I think this list gives you a quick glimpse at the types of opportunities that await within this field of global studies, but that still present very specialized options for you to focus on a discipline of your choice. So one of our students who came in really excited about climate work and climate lobbying was working at the Interfaith Center on Corporate Responsibility. And she had this really exciting role where she was basically lobbying corporations to implement sustainable solutions in their business models. And that's just one kind of glimpse at how students who are from, that kind of a traditional background, not necessarily international relations, but are really able to make this program work to their advantage. And just to touch on some of the student outcomes of this program, we actually just recently had our 5th class of students graduate from this program. So we are still a new and growing program, but we are always excited to see what our students go off to do. And from that after that 5th class graduated, we did like a full alumni survey to check in on where our students are at post-graduation. And this is just a quick shot at what some of our students that are recent graduates are doing now. And as you'll see, they're going on to a wide range of opportunities. There's definitely a core group of students that are very interested, similar to the Institutions in Social Change program, that are interested in, social issues, nonprofit work, international organizations, things of that nature. But we also have students who are much more, focused on a specific discipline. So some of our finance and economics students are landing really interesting positions in financial analysis and global business, things like that. And then lastly, before we turn to Q&A and everything, just the general admissions process for the MAGS program is very similar for the undergrads. It's a pretty streamlined application right through our website. We do ask for a statement of purpose and a resume or a CV, just so we can understand, your experience in the field. We also ask for a short essay that sort of touches on a global issue of your interest that you think you might be potentially interested in studying further during your time in the program. And we also, of course, are asking for a couple of of recommendations from either a past professor or a work supervisor, as well as all of your transcripts from your undergraduate experience. This year, we actually also decided to implement some new application timelines to increase the options students have when they're interested in the MAX program. So if you're interested in applying for next year, we still have all three of these windows open and running, and you have lots of time to kind of decide which one makes the most sense for you. The newest one to this edition is our early admission timeline. So if you're interested and you want to be part of the program next year, this is a really good way to get your foot in the door early. It's a great way to kind of solidify your financial plans earlier in the process as well, and can also give students a bit of a leg up during the internship search process as well. If you are committed to the program earlier, we can start helping you look for positions even earlier on. And then lastly, we do not ask for an application fee or any standardized testing. So we're really hoping that students from all kinds of backgrounds are able to submit applications to the program. And the only sort of general requirement on that note is that if English is not your first language, or you're not currently doing an undergraduate program that's conducted in English, we do ask for proof of English language scores. And similarly to the undergrad programs as well, we do have very competitive tuition scholarships. These are available to all applicants, so both US applicants as well as international applicants. And our program is very competitive in terms of cost, just to begin with. So it's a really great option, especially the dual MA program, to shave down costs for a master's program. And with that, we have gone through all of our information about both of these programs. So I think we're going to open it up to a general Q&A. I know I've seen some questions pop up here and there, so we'll pass it back to Florencia to lead the way for us. I think you're muted.
Here. Okay. I was muted, yeah.
There you are.
So yes, we have a lot of questions, a lot. Thank you very much for this clear presentation. It was really informative. And let's go. Yeah, let's go with the Q&A session. If anyone has any other questions to add, now is the time. I will begin because there are so many questions related to the internships. So I'll try to summarize all of them. But the first question, how do you match your students with the companies? Do we get the chance to choose?
I'll pass it back to the undergrad crew to start us off.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
If there's anything dramatically different with the MA, Duncan will chime in.
Okay.
So internships, we have a big network of partners. We have over 150 different intern partners. So when students apply to this program, when you're accepted to the program, when you decide, yes, I want to do it, we start by having a big brainstorming meeting with you. And in that meeting, we're going to get to learn a lot more about you. What are your academic interests? What are your career goals? What kind of internships are you interested in? From there, we're going to suggest internships based on your interests. And then you're doing the work of actually applying to these positions. So you will be on average applying for up to 10 internships. And then from there, you should have 2 or 3 interviews. After the interviews, somebody will make you an offer. Maybe you'll get one offer, maybe you'll get a couple offers and get to choose. But yes, you have a lot of agency in the process. You get to choose where you'd like to apply. And you get a lot of help and a lot of advice from our team, figuring out what are the best matches for you based on your interests.
Okay, okay. And are all these internships in New York City?
That's right.
Yes. Okay. Not outside of the city. All the companies are over there. ONG's company.
A lot of our internships are in Manhattan, which is the main borough, the main island of New York City. We also have many intern partners in Brooklyn, which is where our dorms are based. Stephanie showed you the map earlier.
Yeah.
And then we have a few other intern partners all across the city, but everybody is headquartered in New York City. And your commute shouldn't be longer than an hour one way, probably going to be shorter than that.
Okay, perfect. Another question from Julio. he's asking, are the internships paid? I know you already said that, but Julio maybe didn't hear the explanation.
So it's a mix, right? We work with so many different kinds of organizations. We work with really big private companies. We work with think tanks and consultants. And then we work with a lot of smaller organizations. We work with small art groups. We work with, small grassroots advocacy groups. So because we work with so many different types of intern partners, there's a lot of variety. So yes, many intern partners are paid. The going rate for an intern is New York State minimum wage, which is $16 US dollars an hour. Other positions are unpaid. It really depends on the organization. And as I was mentioning earlier, many of our unpaid partners will offer students something. Maybe they will offer to cover your transportation for the semester. So covering your Metro card, which is what we use to ride the subway, to take the bus, to ride the ferry. Or maybe some of our intern partners offer food. They will cover your meals while you're working. We have a fantastic partner that would qualify for the Institutions and Social Change certificate. They're called Welcome to Chinatown. And as you can imagine, that's based in Manhattan's Chinatown, which is a very historic neighborhood. Students who do that internship, they get to eat very, very well. They get to eat in Chinatown every single day.
That's
So
nice.
it's a big variety, paid versus unpaid. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And is it possible to continue working for the company after doing the internship? Does it happen?
I will turn to Duncan for a little bit about this, but I will say we don't guarantee that your internship will be extended, but it definitely has happened. And I'm going to let Duncan get more into OPT.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Grace mentioned, sort of generally for all of these programs, there is definitely the opportunity for students, if they establish a really strong connection, to carry over their internship opportunities. And I know that quite a few of the master's students, for example, have carried on their internship at least through the summer following graduation, because many students are coming from different backgrounds. Some will be going back to their home countries. They don't always turn into post-grad opportunities. However, as Grace just mentioned, students who come through our fully US-based version of the program do actually become eligible for OPT after the program. So this is a really great opportunity for students to earn up to a year of work eligibility in the United States after they graduate. And that's an incredible way to obviously, sustain these relationships. You could even try to maintain your position at the same company you do your internship at. This is a really individualized process, so it depends on, kind of your experience at your internship. But at the very least, students are often using their internship supervisors to get future letters of recommendation for other positions or future educational opportunities. So it's really all about, maximizing the experience, and our staff are here to help guide you all throughout to make sure you do so.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. Since you're there, I have a question for you. Before you spoke about the opportunity of studying at New York City or maybe doing some part at Vienna. One participant is asking if the cost of both programs are the same.
Great question. So they are not the same entirely. If you are studying with us here at Bard, the cost is the same across 2 semesters. So if you're part of the fully US-based program, it's the same cost for the fall and spring semester. And there's full estimates about this on our website if people are curious about the specific numbers. However, for the CEU track, so for students who are considering starting in Vienna, that semester can actually be a much cheaper way for students to participate in the program. Things like cost of living and food and expenses are just sort of generally much less in Vienna than they are here in New York City. It's a very expensive city to live in. There's no hiding that. But there are definitely some ways to make the program cheaper regardless. Students participating in the CEU track, however, though, definitely the tuition cost is much lower, as the CEU cost of tuition starts at a much lower cost than New York City programs do. There's also some different financial aid opportunities for the semester at CEU as well. All of that side does go through CEU directly. So students applying to that dual MA track do need to submit an application directly to CEU. So that financial aid side is up to the college on their side, but definitely there's a bit of a cost difference between the 2 tracks.
Okay, great. And speaking of costs, we have a lot of questions about this. What is the estimated cost of living for a full year in New York City?
I'm gonna pass this over to someone who works on our website.
Okay.
Estimated cost. So I think we actually have that. I don't have that number off the top of my head and it's a very variable number because it depends.
Of course.
How much are you cooking for yourself? How much are you eating out? Are you buying a coffee every day? But I think on our website, can you pull up the undergrad website? I think on the admission page of the website, we do list an estimated cost of the living.
New York City.
It's in the New York City. Okay. So yes, if you visit the New York City tab.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bard NYC, the undergraduate website, we do have a New York City page that estimates costs. So I would encourage anyone trying to estimate living expenses in New York City to visit our website and visit that page.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stephanie. Another question regarding the cost. What is the global cost of the MS in Global Studies program without considering a scholarship?
So the specific cost of the program changes a little bit from year to year. I believe currently the cost is about 18,000 USD per semester. And that is about a half or a third of what similar programs in the United States cost these days. I know that sounds like a very scary number, but that is all before any aid is considered. And like I mentioned earlier, all students are eligible for tuition scholarships. So although these scholarships are primarily need-based, we do take in, we practice holistic admissions here at Bard. So we do our best with applicants to get them as competitive of an offer of aid as possible.
Okay. And another question from Edo. How competitive is to get in? And can I stay and work in New York after graduate from the MA?
So competition-wise, it definitely depends year to year. We've had a bit of fluctuation post-COVID. Things are always changing. We definitely like to say that all students from all backgrounds have an equal shot at admission. So while I don't have necessarily any sort of statistics because the numbers change from year to year, students from all kinds of backgrounds are competitive applicants to us. So it's really a matter of demonstrating your interest in a pre-professional program like this. Showing yourself as an eager applicant to gain experience, both academically and professionally, is a way to set yourself up as a competitive applicant.
Okay. Another question from Leticia. How recent does the graduation need to be in order to qualify as a recent graduate?
That's a really great question. If this person is asking specifically about 1 year, 1 year is my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if this is for the certificate program, a student thinking about, segueing into this postgraduate, I would say consider for the calendar year post-graduation. If they're thinking about the MA option, there's definitely a bit more flexibility there. So students could take a year or two between undergraduate before applying to us. But for the undergraduate, I would say a year is a good threshold.
Okay, perfect. So we have a lot of questions regarding scholarships. So if we can summarize a little bit, they are asking if they can apply for a scholarship, how much financial aid do international students get? And how much initial capital is advisable to have before submitting an application for scholarship?
Okay. Do you maybe want to start from the undergrad side and then I can chime in?
So for the undergrad scholarship, I should say there's no full scholarships. Everyone can apply for a partial tuition scholarship. So again, I would visit our website, look at the admissions page that outlines all the costs. There are no scholarships. I don't think that we've mentioned this so far, but no scholarships for the cost of housing. So we're not able to reduce the cost of housing at all in our dormitory. That just everyone pays the cost of housing. So however, everyone can apply for a tuition scholarship, but it will be a partial scholarship. It's difficult to say how much that scholarship will be because it depends on the applicant. But I just want to be clear that it's a partial tuition scholarship. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would just reiterate the same thing for the MAG side of the program. We are able to offer very competitive tuition scholarships, especially for international students coming from need-based backgrounds. We do our best, especially for those who apply early, to get them as high of an offer of aid as possible. But we similarly are not able to provide, living stipends or scholarships for personal expenses or housing or things like that.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have Ana Patricia, who has left you a few questions. She says, "Hi, I am interested for the master's program. My questions are, do you have a template for the recommendation letter? 2, do the transcripts need to be translated by a certified translator? And 3, can I submit the Duolingo English test as proof of my English proficiency? Thanks for the information, and I hope to join Bard in the future."
Well, these are all great questions. So thank you, Anna, for these fabulous questions. Just going in order here. So thinking about the recommendation letter, we don't necessarily have a specific format for these. We definitely receive like a bit of range from people writing letters of recommendation. There's all sorts of examples online, though, and especially when you are reaching out to request a letter of recommendation from someone, it can be a great idea to kind of lead the way in terms of what types of subjects you'd like them to touch on in their letter of recommendation. So that's one sort of admissions hack I'll leave with you today. But yeah, I would say there's some flexibility there. It's all about the rapport you have with your recommender and what they want to share with us. The second question, as for the transcripts, if your transcript is not in native English, yes, we do ask for a translation just so our admissions team and offices can process and maintain those documents. And then lastly, yes, we do now accept the Duolingo English test as proof of English. So I believe we accept the IELTS, the Duolingo, and there's some other one.
TOEFL, maybe?
Yes, the TOEFL is the third one.
Okay.
So all three of them.
That was another question from Alejandra, so I think we have answered it.
Oh, great.
Okay, so we have also Maria Pilar, who's asking, how early should we prepare the application? What should we include? Will there be an interview in English?
I'm happy to start from the undergrad side of things for this one. It depends on which program, I guess, actually you're applying to, the timeline wise. For the undergraduate and certificate programs, you're probably thinking about this about 9 months out, I would say, before enrollment, 9 months to a year. You're starting to strategize about which term of participation makes the most sense, and starting to get your materials together. As for the graduate level, it's usually about a year ahead of schedule. So our application just launched a few weeks ago for the students who would begin next fall, and they have the next few months to get their applications together.
I just want to add that the undergraduate application, it typically opens a few months before the deadline. So our upcoming deadline is November 1st. We opened our application in August, maybe? Yeah. So you have a couple of months once that next semester application opens. We allow a few months to receive applications. I don't think we mentioned that the undergrad program, we also have an early decision deadline. So November 1st is the deadline, but if you apply by October 15th, if you're able to finish your application in the next 2 weeks, that is a great way to get started on the internship process earlier. It just kind of makes you 2 weeks ahead of all the other students applying for internships. So I wanted to mention that as well, that you can also apply early for the 2 weeks early before the official deadline of the undergrad program.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we are arriving to the end of this webinar. I have a few questions regarding visa and information for students who are not from the United States. Do you help with the visa process and what is required to study and live there? Also, someone is asking if you receive students from countries like Bolivia, for example. So can you explain a little bit about this process?
You have info on the MA side of visas?
I mean,
Or, well, the visas, yeah, it is done by Bard College, our main campus. So we're not doing that in New York City, but students that are applying for the certificate programs, as long as you applied and were accepted to a certificate program, Bard College will be sponsoring your visa for the semester that you are with us. I should mention that, for example, Bard NYC, we also have a summer program. We're not able to sponsor visas for our summer program for international students, but for the certificate program, the college can sponsor those visas. So it's all done through the college. I don't know, have you had Bolivian students?
No,
I think we have in our, yeah, we do often have students from South America. I've only been here for 3 years, so maybe the international affairs program has in the past, but in the last 3 years, we had a student from Bolivia.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I think we are done with all the questions. For those that have still have doubts and questions to ask to Bard, you can of course go into the website, but you can also write them on via email. On this screen, you are just seeing some emails addresses. Also, tomorrow you're going to receive an email from WeUni by Doc City with some more information and this video, the recording of this webinar. So if you want to see it again and go through all the information, you can do it. Now we have reached the end of the webinar, and on behalf of WeUni and Bard College, I'd like to thank you all for your time. And I want to ask the speakers if you have some final message to leave to our participants.
Don't be shy about emailing us. Our jobs are to talk to students like you, so no question is too small. Don't worry if you didn't understand something we talked about today. Feel free to send us emails anytime.
And there's also an option to set up a one-on-one call as well. So if you had additional questions, maybe you have 10 more questions, then I would recommend setting up a call with one of our staff. You can do that on the Bard NYC website. You also have a link on the MA website to set that up.
Yep. Yeah, and we hope to welcome you to New York City soon.
Okay, thank you. A final reminder for all the participants, if you like to receive your certificate of attendance, please make sure to fill out the form I have shared in the chat. You will receive your certificate directly in your email. So once again, thank you all for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you in next events organized by WeUni. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.